Generative AI is slowly ruining the internet, and eventually the World Wide Web, undoubtedly one of mankind's greatest achievements, will be reduced to robots posting nonsensical garbage while other robots comment with nonsensical garbage. Until the completely dead internet arrives, though, let's have some fun with it. I sometimes check out the Facebook AI Slop subreddit to see what sort of nonsense people bring to light there. And on January 1st of 2025, user NoReaction4269 posted this image. Now, it's pure nonsense. A bunch of babies running down a road in a snowy landscape as if it's a marathon. A strange woman with a vapid stare rollerblading through the crowd. A huge Katamari-like ball of babies on her back. What the heck was even the prompt for this? The more I stared at it, and the more it stared back into me, I began to feel that it looked like a video game. I even commented in the thread that I almost want to make this concept into a video game. And that's where it should have ended, but the idea was planted in my brain and would remain to drive me nuts. So with only a couple of days of winter break left before I returned to regular life, and not having done any recreational programming during the 2 weeks I was off, I decided to see how hard it would be to prototype this concept into a game in Unity. There are a variety of free 3D assets available, and I found a suitably creepy rigged baby easily enough, but finding a female skater was harder. So I hopped into Daz 3D and using the Genesis 8 female, I whipped up a suitable knockoff of the protagonist. I couldn't find torn blue jeans in my mostly free assets I'd collected over the years, and I had to settle for old school roller skates instead of the inline rollerblades from the AI Slop. I also couldn't find knee pads, though I made sure she had suitable body padding. The next step was simply to build the game mechanics. I opted for an infinite runner style game because I've experimented with that in the past and was able to womp up something quickly. In this game, the player doesn't actually move, except from side to side on the road, and the road is broken up into segments that move towards the player. When a segment is sufficiently behind the player, it, and all its babies and bric-a-brac, is removed from the game, and a new segment is added to the end. I then added basic collision so that when the player collides with a baby, the baby is removed from the world and I spawn a flailing baby roughly on the back of the player in an attempt to form a Katamari-like ball of babies. Now, the game would eventually reach a limit and crash if I just kept adding babies to the back of the player, so I decided that when you collect 13 babies, it's a baker's dozen and your selection is cleared. Why? Absolutely no reason, and I like the idea of referring to 13 babies as a baker's dozen. I then added some procedurally generated terrain on either side of the road, along with trees and streetlights to make it more closely resemble the original AI Slop. So what next? I thought about using the baby Katamari as a bowling ball to knock down babies ahead of me, provided you don't acquire 13 babies and have your collection reset, but that almost feels too much like a real game mechanic. Though if the babies you knock down became tripping hazards for the player, that might make it interesting, especially if I keep stats on how many babies you collect, how many you knock down, how many times you fall down, etc., without any indication as to what those stats mean in relation to each other or any sort of score. My friend Jason suggested using the baby Katamari to launch at kaiju that appear in the level, but again that feels too much like a normal game mechanic. Thinking that AI might be a good source for hallucinated ideas as to what other things should be in this game, I went to Microsoft's Copilot and described my dilemma. Copilot said it understood what AI Slop was, but its suggestions, while non sequiturs, lacked the fever dream qualities of these AI-generated images. I feel like anything I add to this game should be just as bizarre and confusing as AI Slop. Maybe something with 386-year-old grandmothers, bizarre Jesus sculptures, inaccurate BMW facts, or maybe working in references to Scarlett Johansson, beautiful cabin crew, cauliflower Shivas, or whatever is going on here, somehow. But maybe the best source of nonsensical ideas would be from the viewers of this video. Viewers like you. So tell me in the comments below, what should happen in this game? The most insane, pointless, and hilarious ideas might be incorporated into this, if I can make it happen, and once it gets to a point that it's fun to play, I'll post it on itch.io for everyone to be utterly confused by it, where it can join my purgatory of barely fleshed out games like My Last Stand, Treasure Swept, and Last Look Up. I also have no idea what to name this game, though my top contenders right now are Why Don't Games Like This Trend and Beautiful Cabin Crew. I look forward to reading what you think.